my wine, I'ma hold you with me. You look good, you look fine, you got all them colors. So high up on the clouds, I don't see no. I'm gonna take you out and dance that boogie. I got that fun for sure, make you wanna do it. I'll never let you go, you're too good looking. I'm about to rock your world, so let us groove it. I'm confused, but I'm trying to spread love to the city. That's my coat, too much wine, try to grab your. What is good, what is fine, I just called you Billy. I'm so hype on the clouds, fine. I'm gonna take you out and dance that boogie. I got that fun for sure, make you wanna do it. I'll never let you go, you're too good looking. I'm about to rock your world, so let us groove it. Because tonight we're not gonna sleep, we dance that boogie. You're gonna be wearing my hoodie. We go up and down and up and boogie. Go up and down and up and boogie. We go up and down and up and boogie. Go up and down and up and boogie. Still believe in the hype though. That Billy thing was just a typo. You might think that I'm a psycho, but the voice in my head says I'm fine though. Still believe in the boogie. She says she believes in the boogie. They scream. So tonight, I'm gonna take you out and dance that boogie. I got that fun for sure, make you wanna do it. I'll never let you go, you're too good looking. I'm about to rock your world, so let us groove it. Because tonight we're not gonna sleep, we dance that boogie. You're gonna be wearing my hoodie. We go up and down and up and boogie. Go up and down and up and boogie. We go up and down and up and boogie. Go up and down and up and boogie. Up and down and up and boogie. Go up and down and up and boogie. Up and down and up and boogie. Go 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 up and down and up and boogie.
Good afternoon, good evening, I guess at this point, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Mini RPG of the Week. It's week 8 of season 4. Thomas, you're here as well. Week 8 means that we are now pretty much officially a third of the way through season 4 of Mini RPG of the Week.
Can't doubt that maths. Can slightly doubt that maths, but
it's
can't
like
doubt
one
it too
third
much.
off, okay?
It's close enough. It's a third off a third, and no, I'm looking forward to it. And it's a pleasure, Noah, an absolute pleasure, to be joined by you for once.
I've showed up. I know, it's ridiculous. I keep using you to fill in for me, basically, which I apologize for, but you know, I hope everyone enjoys it anyway, because I think that everyone has a good time when you're around, Thomas.
That's good, and I hope you can repay me the favor with something else that I run, because we'll move on. But I might need you to host a few episodes. Anyway, Mini RPG of the Week. Last week was really fun. I don't know if you caught up on what was going on. We had some minuses in the chat that I felt were uncalled for, because I thought the map was sick. And I'm looking forward to this week's edition.
Excellent, yeah. I missed last week. I was busy watching drama unfold over in University Rocket League, and if you know, you know, and if you don't, well, I'll enlighten you somewhere else, because this is neither the time nor the place as we get ready to play some Trackmania. This week's mapper is, I believe, Reggio Vallon, and we are heading to a map called Station Keeper, although it's important to note, Thomas, that Leetspeak is making its grand return. This is Station _ K33P3R.
So I was almost certain that this person had just put their information in incorrectly and had put the name of the map as Reggio Ovalant, and their name was Station Keeper. Because I was like, there's no way we're going with Elite Speak for the map. But I guess it's 2007 or 2K7, shall I say, to really lean into the to the throwback. And I'm looking forward to it. And it's set in space, and we do love space. And it's a vanilla platformer.
I'll admit it. I've probably over the last 2 years I have read over the last 2 years over 100 sci-fi books. So it's an aesthetic I deeply appreciate. And it's kind of sick. Rage did say in the mapper notes that he originally built the map on the ground, and then it took like a couple of hours of messing around with different vibes, different scenery and things like that to actually figure out what he liked. And that's how the map ended up here in space.
That is fascinating, and I hope for the viewers at home it is a good viewing experience, because right now, I don't know what's happened to production's computer, but I have about 3 pixels on my screen.
Yeah.
We are going to, we're getting an update on production. Oh, silky smooth, look at that transition. I don't know if anyone saw this on the stream, but that was beautiful. Thank you very much, Deployer. I like the space aesthetic.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to seeing how this map plays out. It feels a little bit confusing at the moment. I'm wondering if we're going to see some people struggling with Route 1 of finding the route, because it does not seem all that clear. While there are small arrows, that's a fun finish, and a little safe finish there at the end. It doesn't seem too clear how they're meant to do the path.
Yeah, no, it's definitely going to be interesting. It is described by Rage as a classic platformer and keyboard friendly at the same time, as Rage is a keyboard player themselves. So we're going to see how that does actually work out, if it is in fact kind of keyboard friendly, if it is a classic platformer in that sense. And I'll say, first impressions, definitely feels that way, right? You have the easy routes on the side of these platforms, but there's definitely plenty of these kind of transitions. We're seeing this one at the start, that a couple of players are kind of struggling just to get the speed to make on that first jump around that first corner. But of course there's a soft, easy way to take if you need it.
Yeah, and to lean on that easy finish, obviously last week we had a route that was, a track rather, that was very easy and hard. You know, you had a little bit of spice, a little bit of not spice, and you were able to pick your route. And I think it was the furthest I've seen in a mini RPG of the week where the safe finish made it to the final round. The safe finish runners. It was really, the risky finish was risky, and it was rewarding those players who understood their limits and went for the easier route. So it'll be interesting to see if some of these alternate routes find their way deeper into these runs, or if once players get good at optimizing it, they'll be fine. And I'm really curious if you can get up from here. There we go. Okay, making sure the car doesn't stall out. That would be one brutal error there. But yeah, interesting to see. I'm enjoying this. It's got the black surfaces, which are always fun when you're trying to explore a map and you're not quite sure what is what. So we'll keep these guys on their toes. And I've been cooking Newer in the week. I don't know if I've told you this.
I mean, I don't know if you have.
So I've been trying to get a bit of a Welsh invasion on Mini RPG of the week. And I have yet to figure out if this has occurred, because last week there was a bit of an Irish invasion, right? We had Babs choking at the first checkpoint of Liquipedia page, coming in at 11th. He turned left for no reason and DNF'd.
Simply does not want. International Man of Mystery Babs refuses to be known, refuses to be seen.
Yeah, I even messaged him. I was like, what was that? And he was like, I choked. Liquipedia mentally gapped me. And then we had some more. But I've been trying to get the Welsh lads to come on, because I think what this Mini RPG of the Week broadcast has never had is a healthy degree of nationalistic competition.
Careful now, Thomas. A
healthy degree.
A healthy degree.
We're losing to the French. We know
so
that, right?
We're talking Eurovision levels.
Yeah, but just within these blessed isles.
Okay, sure.
That being said, I haven't seen any Irish names yet, so I should have maybe riled up the Irish lads too.
Everyone's still recovering from the Christmas party last Saturday.
How was it? How was it? Tell the audience.
A great time. Very enjoyable. We sang some songs, and we were in the pub, and it was good.
Yes, Agros is here! Agros is here! I've got him. He jumped over 3 minute 14, so he's not really testing anyone at the moment, but he's here.
Huge.
Can we please jump on board with Acros?
Well, we'll try to. I'll tell you, that menu's going to jump around a little bit. I do want to note a couple of things about the map, first of all. I do want to note that Rage's caster notes, the questionnaire that is filled out by every mapper, is one of the best written ones that I have read in a very long time. I really enjoy it. It gives a lot of clear detail and has some lovely little moments of light humor in it as well. There's a lot of safe ways, Rage notes, because security is important when you're in space, you know? Makes a lot of sense. Also, you were kind of mentioning, you know, a lot of dark platforms and things, but Rage does note that actually, despite that, visibility on the map is quite good. And the more we watch this, the more I'm kind of finding myself tending to agree, right? There is a lot of dark platforms, okay? But you can always kind of see the well-lit area is the next area that you're aiming for. You know, you turn this corner, you get around, and you're heading down towards those trees where the light is, and then you're heading up for the big red thing in the distance. And that's kind of true the entire track round.
Yeah, I think it's once we've got more pixels, I've been able to see more, and I agree with you quite. It's pretty good. So Scandia, they're failing at obviously we are still but I felt like he had quite a bit of speed, so that risky finish does seem to be pretty good skill check.
Yeah.
I do agree on the formatting. Always love a good formatted dog. We are trying to find Acros. We are failing. It's not an indictment on Deployer. I was also looking at the list and couldn't see him. I always love a map that has a bit of a crossover. It does feel like we might have some of our mini RPG of the Week community members who don't want to go fast. They don't want to go far. But oh, there he is! Click on him! Click on him! Yeah!
Oh. That fool, he crossed Scandia's path, and then it was just a matter of time before we got him.
So yeah, we might get some of the cutters, right? We love them.
Yeah, I was
see
thinking the same thing.
Hopefully they won't go far in the competition, and they sure as hell won't be the fastest.
Well,
but they will show us a new way.
Yeah, I mean, it is a platformy map with a crossover, you know, some wreathed sections, and a lot of big, wide open platforms. It's not particularly constrained on the track in terms of, oh, you know, there's a wall in the way here to prevent you going somewhere. So we'll definitely hope that it's been well considered by Rage in terms of, you know, where things go, how much speed players have at various points to try and prevent some of those cuts. But I wouldn't be shocked to see one, you know, just in a map of this nature, you know, with no value judgment made on Rage as a mapper or anything like that. Just in terms of the style of map that has been created here is one where things can end up being cut.
And it's fun. We love a good cut. You know, we love seeing players just different angles, driving in different directions, like a confused old man going against the crowd. Accuracy here with lots of things. And yeah, I feel like this is going to be a fun one in rounds. It just gives off that vibe that it's going to be fun. I love sections like this, reminds me of motocross, actual, you know, motocross races where you've got whoops, whatever they're called. They do lots of bumpy bumps, and that's really good. But I don't want you to get away with not discussing more about the Irish Trapmania community.
Yeah, it was, listen, it was a great time, and it was lovely to see everyone.
That's good. That's good. And no stories?
I don't think so, really, you know? No, nothing. Listen, obviously a very boring bunch of people.
That is code for there was lots of stories. Listening at home, and I put my mic closer to my face.
We did have, and I would love to know the outcome of it. There was a map built by Liffey that he had on a laptop loaded up in the corner of karaoke that was 5 minutes of pure chaos that most people had at least a go at some point in the evening. And I'd love to know who had the best time by the end of the night. I think it was kind of everyone was only really allowed to do one run on it. The rules were unclear to me because it was never really formal. But I can tell you, I did not do well.
But you're so good at Trackmania.
Well, also, and here's the worst part. I was near the end of actually setting a run, And it wasn't terrible, but then a fire alarm went off. So I didn't get to finish, and I forgot to set one when I got back up because, well, I forgot someone else had the laptop by the time I got back up there as well.
Well, you know, because of course you have to leave all your belongings in case of a fire. For
Exactly.
those of you new to being
Life.
in buildings.
Okay,
but
sure.
that's
So the
fine.
Welsh,
Okay.
you're speaking to our Welsh audience.
Yes, of course. Yeah. We were born in Barnes, and we were happy about it. You know what I mean? We had what we
I
had,
do.
and
I
we
understand.
were happy with it. This is like a battle of the impoverished British nations here. A Welsh and Irish
Well,
person complaining.
You
But
want to rephrase British nations, or we're just
British
gonna
and
stick
Irish
with that?
nations. Hey,
Okay,
no, I
okay.
don't want to make a political statement. I'm just bad at names. But
That's fair.
back on board with all of our favourite friends. We've got some familiar names at the top. We've got some names that perhaps we don't see all that much. I do want to point out Hazard went out really early last week, way earlier than expected. Hit us with a double minus again. Thought it was unfounded. Thought the map was good. Maybe he was just a bit salty. But yeah, we did see some big names go out pretty early last week. So it'll be interesting to see if they can bounce back. And we've got the heavy hitters, the ones you'd expect to see. Obviously, and Akros is currently not even in the top 50. I really need my boy to pull through. Do you think this is going to suit any of our mini RPG of the week familiars more than others,
Sure,
or
I
are
can
they all
just
going to be
cheat and say Scandir.
Well, Noah.
It's other than that, it does feel like, and because I don't want to say easy map, right? But it is a style that definitely suits players who are just comfortable taking the most out of a track that is not challenging you to do one trick very specifically, right? Players who are willing to risk a little bit more, arguably maybe someone like Artis could maybe have a good time here, you know? I mean, trying to take the most out of these wide platforms, trying to just head as wide as possible around each corner, get as much speed and maintain that speed throughout the track. That's probably going to be the difference maker in these rounds, is how aggressive you're willing to be with your lines. And we can kind of see Artis is starting to look a little bit aggressive there, you know, falling off that outside as he looks to see how much space he can take on the drop down into that outside. Canted? What's the word? Not canted, is it? You know, a turn that's sloped?
Oh, camber, Noah.
Camber, not canted.
Negative camber if it's sloped in the opposite
Negative
direction.
camber.
Positive camber
Down
if it's
onto
sloped
that.
in the direction.
There you go. The negative cambered slope on the outside there. You know, I mean, taking that wide without losing time, but maintaining speed and not trying to go too tight so you fall off when you try to turn down onto it. Things like that. That's going to be the difference maker for me in rounds, I reckon.
Yeah, one might say negatively camber.
One might say that.
One might say that if they were correct. But we don't need to do that at all.
No.
Yeah, looking forward to it. I think we're getting near the end of the warm-up. I think you can see by the times we've got a lot more players under that 1 minute, which sort of hints at what you were suggesting, that this is going to be something that could... See, at 53. I looked like 2 seconds ago when he was on 56.
Still a second ahead of anyone.
The times do be doing what they do be doing.
Quick. They do
Yeah,
be quick.
Scandia does. Do we have a estimate?
For what?
normally
Yeah,
we get a
56
time
seconds.
estimate.
Scandir is about 2 seconds ahead of the estimate for a good time in rounds. But I mean, that's a good time in rounds. You know, I mean, this is Scandir in warm-up, you know, trying to set good times, you'd imagine as well. So we'll see what a good rounds time is based on that and the fact that Scandir is driving, that Artis is down below 55 as well. I'd say a good rounds time at the moment for our first few rounds. You know, if you wanted to win a round, probably about a 55.
Yeah, you never know. Scandia might do a Scandia thing, just board record in the first round. He's that guy. Say, I'm down with the kids.
He is him.
I also just wanted. That's good. I like that. Not just Ken. And I do just want to point out that I think this is the first time I've seen a note in the doc that says, "Thanks to you guys and have a good show."
Yeah.
It's very wholesome.
I told you, this is one of my favorite mapper docs we've got in a very long time. It's excellent. And also, there is a little bit of almost a challenge, I want to say, laid down by Rage in this, where any other notes about the map, things that you would like the caster to know. A second point to here is I would be happy if no cuts were found. I like to have open space like I did with my previous map, My Way, where no cuts were found. Smiley face. That's a cheeky little smiley face. That's
throwing the gauntlet.
That is throwing the gauntlet a little bit down to the players. And I mean, as of yet, I haven't seen any evidence of a cut. So potentially, Rage has once again pulled off that most difficult of things with a map of this style, this very open, very flowing style of mini RPG track, and managed to have crossovers, managed to have a lot of platforms near each other, but still not in a way that intuitively, at the very least, can be cut during rounds.
And we'll only be able to see at the final curtain if they did it his way, or if they found their own way. Very, very, very niche Frank Sinatra joke there for those of you at home.
I was about to say Frank Sinatra.
Tenuous. It was tenuous. I was gonna sing. I thought, let's not do that. I don't want Nua's Twitch channel
on Saturday.
Should have been, yeah. We were trying to get a Wales meetup going, and you guys, I don't know how you guys organise that stuff.
Liffy did quite a lot of work, I believe, to make it happen.
There we go. Liffy, big fan of the podcast, a listener of the podcast, keeping track. Episode out tomorrow, but that's okay. But a good lad. Good lad all round. And we are heading into the rounds. I do not see Akros in the top 15. Yeah. But maybe he's just hiding pace.
Maybe. We'll have to hope so for the sake of Welsh pride. But we'll see once we actually get into the rounds here. No eliminations in round one. We are back on the classic format of mini RPG of the week for this one. And we'll see. With 73 players starting things off here, how are you feeling about eliminations for our first round of eliminations, Thomas?
Well, I just want to point out, Noah, we are on week 8.
Yes.
And still, I'm convinced you guys were trolling me with that new format.
It's come back at least once.
Did it work?
Yeah. It worked the first time. It worked for the players. It just lacked some visuals.
Yeah. So you threw me out to dry, as you
Correct.
do, as you are ought to do.
As I am wont to do.
As a man
and
who
also
hates
as I want
attending.
to do.
Yes. in every way. Let's go. My boy. Right. Anyway,
that's a solid time as well.
That's a solid time.
55.3. Hang on, he's definitely in the top 15 now.
Yeah, I told you he's hiding. My boy's
He was hiding pace. Yeah,
he
top
was hiding
7.
pace.
Continue.
Honestly, I've been derailed. What was I?
Excellent. I don't know.
Yeah, you trolled us. That's not a real format.
Yeah.
It was all a joke. You and Zeterate. Ha ha ha. He he he.
It'll come back. I'm looking forward to that format coming back. Okay, it's a great format.
I liked it mainly because it meant that sorry, Noah, I've just noticed, have not gone ahead and removed. I was able to do this.
Oh yeah.
With the soundboard for the whole stream, and that was good fun.
Correct. They do still exist in this Discord.
Yeah, you have made an error there. But I would like to see it back because I do think it would be a nice addition to formats that aren't just mini RPG of the week. I think that sort of last chance, cup of the day style, what are we calling it, like Warzone-esque, the Gulag, could be fun. And I think it would be fun to see that return. Hopefully, if it works. I don't know who we have to. Do you have to do this route? Oh, I guess if you can't get the speed.
Yeah, if you're short a bit of speed going and taking that. Again, there's plenty of safe options around the map. It has definitely been well thought out in terms of, allowing players to actually keep going without losing too much time if there is a mistake. A small error, as it should be on a lot of maps, isn't massively costly. It is going to cost you a second or two, but a small error is not going to be a full reset, which is definitely a worry with maps of this style, that you make a clip on one turn and all of a sudden you have to reset because in 3 turns, if you don't, you're not going to have the speed.
Yeah, we had an incident last week where one of the checkpoints was perhaps not as resettable as one would hope, which may have led to some minuses. But
speaking of, I want to call out the checkpoint that we just saw our Mayhem respawning at there, because it was called out by Rage as a checkpoint that he spent a lot of time testing and making sure that it worked, because you can definitely see with that kind of quarter pipe U-turn style, that is the kind of checkpoint that it is very easy to get wrong, very easy to accidentally make unrespawnable, and equally the one before it, making sure the players have speed to get up into that checkpoint at the top of the U-turn. So I'm saying that to highlight that Rage has put a lot of work into making sure this map is respawnable.
Yeah, apparently a good 2 hours put into that to ensure it was respawnable.
Which, considering that there was 2 to 3 hours put into this map, and then the rest of the time was largely put into creating the ambience, which there was 10 to 15 hours total on the map. That's pretty impressive. That there was a lot of time spent on that checkpoint in particular as well.
Yep, so there we go. First round, 11 players eliminated. We are down to 63, I want to say. Look at that. Big brain. And Akros is leading the pack away. That's not named if. Maybe it is. Yeah, it will be interesting to see how players continue to play this map. We are seeing a lot of people take that early booster to ensure a good run out here. It'll be interesting to see how long that stays. We got some Irish boys, some of the fellas.
Some of the guys. See how long
any
they
of
last.
these on your night out?
Listen, it's a great question, Thomas, and one for legal reasons, my lawyer has told me not to answer.
I want to know what. I'm so curious. What was going on? I wonder if you could just double reset this one and make it faster.
Potentially, right? But it is. You're going to lose speed doing that, I feel like, right? And I mean, it is also a double respawn, which takes.
Oh, Lawnmow's here too!
Lawnmow's here.
Look at that. Oh, nice. I've got influence.
Playing
I'm somewhat of
under
a
the British
Trackmania
flag,
influencer
but
myself.
The Wales club.
Look, we can't all have.
I respect it. I feel like the Wales club, though, should be like, if you're gonna have red, white, and green on the letters, it should be like green, white, red, white, green, right? Because the red is the dragon in the middle.
That's a good point. I would have gone with Cymru. Because I believe
also
in
true.
language.
Yeah.
But that is, I'll bring it up at the next council meeting.
Which, I mean, also has the added benefit that when you spell it in Welsh, doesn't actually just have cum in the name.
That's good. Yeah. That's a good point.
It's ideal.
It is
Perfect
ideal.
language for that reason.
I do cringe when I see an anglicized version of someone trying to spell it incorrectly on Twitter.
Yeah. Understandably.
But it's not ideal. But no, I do think I've got prolific influence because there are 2 Welsh players in this lobby. And before now, we didn't even know what mini RPG of the week was.
That's half the population of a small Welsh town.
Before today, I've just been sat here casting. No idea what I'm casting. And today I finally discovered it along with my fellow Welsh brothers.
Today you care.
I do care today because you turned up for once, which is nice.
Oh, I saw an admin in a wall just there. Speaking of things to get excited about. That was
limit
Black
testing.
Luces also falling, tripping over themselves a little bit. Luces has made it to the checkpoint though, so you know what? Count it. Black Pulse is limit tested all the way into a DNF button.
We've also seen the duality of man in the chat, with the negative followed by a plus.
Yeah,
you like to see it. That booster into the half-core pipe, I guess it's just to reach, which again really is a testament to how good this map has been put together, because that is the type of thing you would really find after 2 hours. So yeah, well produced on that. Maybe saw all the negative narratives from last week due to some slightly unlucky resets and just
given what I know about the map bank for mini RPG of the week and how often
That's
it
a good
is
point.
somehow a long way in the future, I would hazard a guess that this map has been finished for at least a couple of months at this point. Which huge thank you to all the mappers who do make maps for it and send them in advance so that Zeterate is not pulling out his hair every week trying to find a map 24 hours in advance.
So, because when Snowcar got reviewed, I was like, Snowcar mini RPG of the week, when? And Zeterate, if I'm not mistaken, said, oh, we have maps until March.
Yeah, I'd believe it.
It was in November.
Yeah. It's insane to me. There has been 1 or 2 occasions where we have been short a map right up until literally, someone has had to last minute crash make map. I think Black Pulse has pulled that duty a couple of times, like having to make a map in the remaining 48 to 24 hours before that week's mini RPG of the week. But we're now, nearly 90 episodes in? We're 80 something episodes in, 80 weeks of maps, and that's only happened in two or 3 occasions, I think, at most, which is legitimately insane.
We are on board with Scandia. And
yes.
all he
sees, insane.
all he sees is nothing but an open road.
And what a road it is!
Every single round. This guy is built different. I still can't get over the fact that he is one of the best Trackmania players. He turns up every week to do this, and look, it's great to have a player that will hold everyone else accountable. Right, just a 53-9 in rounds, right? There's no easy wins in mini RPG of the week because Scandir exists, and you have to come after the king.
Can I get a win check on Scandir? If Zetorate is here or listening, how many wins is Scandir now sitting on? Because Fasty's forgotten the route. That's fine. Quick left turn there. You'll be fine. There's maybe enough map left to catch someone. Yeah, there you go. 51st.
Noah.
Totally
round
fine.
5.
That's fine. Look, he's safe. He made it in the last available position, and that's all that counts. Well, I was asking, Scandir's win count, because Scandir only really started playing mini RPG the week kind of semi-seriously once the World Tour ended for him for the year, essentially, and once Ascension and things were out of the way as well. So, I mean, he definitely started a long way back from the kind of overall all-time leaders in terms of number of wins, who were Yannick's and Hazard sitting near 10 wins already. But he must have, halved the gap already. He's got to be gaining at this point.
Yeah, he's built different. Who knows, he might be the points leader as we head into mini RPG. An event which I still have not received my invite. Zetorate must be lost in the mail. I appreciate that. International mail is. You can just DM me.
My mother already has her accommodation booked, so I don't know what your excuse is.
But chat, do I?
Pull the trigger.
It's right there. It's right there. It's right there. I'm surprised you didn't book my room too. Anyway, so we are now on board with Yannick. A familiar name. We do love Yannick. Just Yannick, if you somehow listen to the pod, did DM you on Discord if you like to be on the podcast. Just someone.
I sent you my DM. Please. I sent you my podcast. Please respond.
I've been aired a lot recently. I've been very vulnerable. I
you
won't
have
say.
Had to smash the glass in case of emergency.
I've had to. Well, no, okay. So we've had a meme, right? So later this evening, me and Noah will be recording a podcast.
Whoa, news to me.
Of Keeping Track, episode 14, I think. As I mentioned, episode 13 is SK, and it's a really good episode. I'm just finishing the edit. Tomorrow, 10:30 GMT. Listen, it's good. I'm not necessarily smashing glass in case of emergency. Right? The thing is, I'm just not here next week.
Yeah, no, but this was the joke, was that it was when Thomas ran out of podcast guests. That would be when I would come on. That was to smash glass in case of emergency, because he knew he built up too much of a debt for me to turn down. I can't say no. You've done mini RPG of the week enough times. You've covered for me enough times that it was only fair.
Yeah, and it'll be fun. I'm slightly concerned that I have work tomorrow, and I feel like we'll go on forever. So
we'll
the full feature length film. What got you into Trapmania? Ubisoft. And anyway, on board now. I want to do a Wales check. I haven't been keeping track of the knockouts. Obviously, I don't know why I would have to, because we're going to win. But Ken is in shambles right now, figuring out that he is spectating and not playing. Has he gone in GPS mode? What's happening here? And Peanut. Peanut's back online.
I don't know why Ken may have accidentally gone into
Cam's out.
Yes. Or accidentally pressed DNF immediately off the start line. There are many options. Peanut, but very good League of Legends player. Although that one is from Korea, so I'm going to assume it's not the same person. That would be
interesting. Did you know there is a ex-Trapmania player who is now in French League of Legends scene? And oh god, Akros, why are you here? Akros, you can't lose.
Get him, boy.
Akros!
Akros! It's a straight 1v1. Akros is trying to catch up to half-ish time. He's made the error. He's double respawning. It's a disaster. There goes Fasty. Get him, Fasty. Get him. Yes!
My regional pride.
That's true, actually. I said it was Peanut who was very good at League of Legends. There is also a Korean player called Kan, which is pretty close to Ken. So, you know, 2 players there. Pretty close to professional Korean League of Legends players. And also, yes, I mean, I don't have to say anything because the Irish win as expected.
Oh no!
Lawn mode. That crow's so noob.
Is Lawn Mode still in?
I hope so. Yeah, he is. Yeah.
There he is. Look at that. Look at production. Absolutely love to see it. But oh, that was heartbreaking.
I don't know. I thought that was great.
Yeah, well, of course you. So Lawn Mow is, I believe, the last hope of the Welsh assault on Mini RPG of the Week.
Yeah.
I will say, haven't seen Lawn Mow having to fight his way out of the last chance.
Lawn Mow's a good mini RPG player. Actively a good mini RPG player. So, you know.
Which is handy in mini RPG.
It was Longmo who, back before I did the first week of mini RPG of the week, I asked around British Irish server and was like, hey, does anyone know anything about mini RPG? And could maybe, you know, give me some pointers on the style before I go and cast this event. And people put me in contact with Longmo, and I jumped in call with him for a while, and he taught me about
this is not going.
mini
Why are
RPG.
you telling this
This
story?
is a very bad
Why
time
are
for
you
this
telling
story.
this story?
I'm sorry, Longmo. No, you got this. He's totally fine. He's 35th, totally safe. I just thought it was a pleasant story, you know.
And we're on Fasty 30 is on Flake Watch. I do believe he would wait. I don't think he would have been out if he made that finish.
Maybe not. I think we saw Vicente and Luce's finish immediately beside him then.
Hey, Lomo's listening to the stream.
Yeah, it was very kind of Lawnmo to teach me things.
You were always my preferred Welsh player, Lawnmo. Don't listen to any of my previous words, my messages in the Wales chat, or my general vibe now that Acros has got. I always believed in you, and I can't wait to see you win this.
Yeah. I gotta say, like, I don't know what it is about that Wales club tag, but it does stand out in the crowd. Like, I can see Lawnmo up the road up there, you know?
Which, to be fair, I think it's because red and green are quite strong colours. Awful when together for my colourblind brethren. But, you know, quite strong colours. You'll have to see it. Do you want to hear my controversial Wales take? I'm not a fan of our flag.
Ooh. It is very difficult to draw.
Very difficult. I think any flag that has a national competition for children to try and draw it every year is perhaps too complex.
A little bit overly complex, sure.
The French version of that competition it has a lot of tied firsts.
Ooh, hang on, Artis.
He's close.
Oh, he crashed. He crashed.
He's out. He's out.
That's a 36th, maybe worse. 35th, he's in!
What?
Hang on. Am I being lied to by the server? Am I being lied to by the server right now? I don't think so, because if I was being lied to, then Highfish wouldn't have just crossed the line and gotten a 39th. Artis somehow survived.
What? They both respawned, coming from production.
Artis would prefer, I'm sure, not to make it that close next time.
Well, you know, you've got all, you know, in a game like Magic the Gathering, health is a resource. Why not in Trapmania, being right on the bubble is a resource? Maybe.
Sure? I don't think so. I think, if anything, being as fast as Scandir is a resource because you just spend less time driving. Less fatigue because you have spent less time on track.
That is solid, actually. It's one of the in motorsport, slower cars use more fuel.
Yeah, I mean, it's similar in sailing as well. Like, you know, when you're out there doing a dinghy race, tends to be like 45 minutes to an hour long. You know, for a lot of the people up the front, and then down at the back, there's usually like a 10 to 15 minute. You only have 10 to 15 minutes after the first boat to finish. Or you just... It's similar to Trackmania, honestly. There is a timeout. And if you have multiple races in a day, it's a very physical sport. And if you spend an extra 15 to 20 minutes per race trying to fight your way around the course, then you're going to be much more fatigued by the time race 3 rolls around than you are after race 1.
The rich get richer, like in sailing, like in life. The capitalist utopia. And Drops is out. Drops has dropped, one might say. We're still seeing some good times from the fellas at the top. We're seeing Scandia Ice Artis, who's still in it, just. Vortex Freight, Tonix, Yanix, and Yuso, all in the 55s or below. I don't think we've seen Scandia really worry his top time.
Yeah.
But I think all of those times have been 53.8 to 54.2.
We did see him earlier get like a 53.9 at some point, yeah. So he has been consistently very, very fast.
And we'll keep an eye on that as it progresses to see how he does in the final rounds. Hopefully he will have some contenders. And we are seeing some people relatively soon. This isn't, he's not smurfing in couple of days. There is still a challenge to be had. Speaking of flags, what's your thoughts on the Irish flag?
Hey, I like it. It's a nice flag.
Good.
Listen, green's a good color. Orange is a nice color. Politically, maybe not so much, but you know what? The white in the middle is lovely too.
I think orange as a flag color I quite like. Because all
it is
the
very
reds...
unique. Like, the Irish flag is pretty easy to pick out of a lineup. You know, when you see a lot of flags, you're just like, oh, look at the orange.
Yeah, I just get, whenever I see it, I just get an ancestral hate. No, orange in a flag is interesting because red is always like, it is the blood of our enemies and of the soil. And then orange, I don't know what it stands for in the Irish flag. I imagine just wholesomeness, maybe.
The Irish flag is very specific. Green and orange is very, very specifically the Republicans versus the Unionists with a white in the middle to show peace.
I see.
But we won't get into the politics of it.
And historically, that's gone badly?
Historically, would you believe, Thomas, that has not led to much peace in the island of Ireland. So
I see. I'm sure that's all wrapped up. That the UK hasn't been terrible.
But hey, you remember
hey, Lord, no, we're on board.
Remember that boat trip I went on earlier in the year when I was on a boat? That was
when you didn't tell me, and I convinced everyone you drowned at sea
very funny.
Before I knew you were sailing.
That was partly because it was the 100-year anniversary of my great uncle sailing a small yacht around the world, and he was the first person to bring the Irish tricolour around the world.
That's fun. How was that trip?
For me or for him?
Well, I mean,
much longer for him.
I imagine. Yeah. So were you in the same boat? Or a similar boat?
It was a larger version of the boat that he used to sail around the world because he stopped in the Falklands on his way around the world, and they were like, yo dude, sick boat. And he was like, thanks, I designed it myself. And then they were like, can we have one? And he was like, sure. And he built one for the Falklands that was then used as a working boat in the Falklands for many, many years. And then it was restored in Ireland, and then I sailed down to a lovely island on it.
That is nice. And if you or any of your loved ones are sailing around the world, you are a prominent figure in a community that does broadcasts and people know your name, please inform the people you get to fill in of your actions so they don't make a joke that might end up being true should something go wrong, and then spend the entire time that you are at sea completely shitting themselves, worried that you are going to drown at sea.
Would have been pretty funny though.
I mean, look, it would. The first mini RPG of the week back after your death would have been tough. Mainly because at that point we were putting Rip Newer in all the maps, and that would have been pretty real, pretty fast.
Pretty dark, yeah. I mean, hey, shout out to the time I went to do an RLCS broadcast for Navi and got news like the morning of that broadcast that war had broken out between Russia and Ukraine. And several members of the staff were currently wondering whether or not to flee the country and whether or not they were safe. And having to address that on broadcast. Be like, Yep.
Yeah.
That was fun.
It's been a much more geopolitical mini RPG of the week as usual, but we have got MMLB, because I'm never saying it, I don't care.
Mange-moi le balai.
Oh, just whatever. Lawn Mow is still doing it relatively okay. He's a bit on the bubble. We've got Sidza, I never really know how to say this, who has been doing quite well up until this point. So if he gets knocked out here, that is one person to worry about when we get to the end.
Yeah, Sids are having a little bit of trouble at the moment and running out of time on the map to catch up to anyone. In fact, has run out of time. Lawnmow surely made a checkpoint and then just rolled away from the end. Surely that was not Lawnmow going out. It wasn't. Totally safe. And PokeU TM is a great time to compliment William work in chat because William is the best Pokemon player that I know. Would you like to add a compliment for William? Well, William has redeemed compliment.
Oh, a compliment. Okay. Billion work. I like the way that you subvert expectations in how your name should be spelled and where letters should go in.
That's just a spoonerism. I don't know if that counts as subverting expectations.
It's subverting expectations. And I also want to know. Hang on.
Okay, I've compliment. Oh, Thomas, you're the second best producer I know.
To be fair, that's more of a compliment than perhaps the viewers.
Well, that's fair. Well, you don't know how many Pokemon players I know.
That's a good point. And Noah, guess what?
What? Do it again? Oh, you're a caster that I know. That's not a compliment. That's just a statement of fact. I think you did a really good job in getting the Welsh community to come out for this event.
This is getting out of hand. Now there's 2 of them.
Well, 3 of them if you count yourself. And also, Artis's
is out.
sins
I did
have
this.
finally gone up with him.
I did this shit last time. Last time out, Artis, I think it was, or Hazard went out, and it was. I should have been paying more attention. We went off on a tangent, and then we realized Artis has gone everywhere.
Oh.
We'll see if he puts his minuses or his pluses.
Oh. Hang on. Yeah. Always worth checking. We are down to 2 eliminations around as we hold our breaths for that. So that was, as always, a fairly brutal final round of Okay, that was a fairly brutal final round of 4 eliminations, and now that we're down into the 2s, it doesn't get any better for you, Thomas.
Well, Noah, point on the map. An Irish name.
Well, it's a fair point when you put it that way.
I just want to point out, dare I say, my lads, my boyos, have pulled off.
I need to start paying Hotspot to show up to these or something.
Dare I say we've made it?
Yeah, this is Longbow is getting dangerously close to a top 10 right now.
The Liquipedia page doth beckon.
Has Longbow previously had a top 10 in Mini RPG the Week? I wouldn't be surprised. But also there's been a lot of weeks and it's very difficult to remember, roughly 800 finishing positions offhand.
Yeah, I'd be more concerned if you did know that. Saturate, by the way, can we get a website for Mini RPG the Week which has a searchable database? Because that would be really handy. Ice TM there at the end has not made it to the finish. So Ice and Bole are out. Lawnmow has made it into the top 13.
Just while you said that, and if Seterate is listening, I think we could possibly repurpose the sheets that we used for Mini RPG the Week Season 3 finale to show results for all of Mini RPG of the Week. Because the scoring would be... We could functionally use similar scoring. Well, I'll think about that. That seems like something that could be doable.
That would be
and
fun.
then it would... I mean, Google Sheets is a searchable database.
For those of you at home who work in professional services, Excel is not a database.
I didn't say Excel. I said Google Sheets.
You said worse Excel.
Well, yeah.
But we are on board
right.
with Lawnmow, who I believe is probably still listening.
Yeah, we may have distracted him by... that's my fault. I said that Google Sheets was a database, and honestly, that should be enough to throw anyone off their game.
Yeah, and Lawnmow's router has thrown itself off its own game there, by the looks of it, with some internet issues. We'll see if he's able to come back. It would be a hell of a return. Joso there with an interesting line into that checkpoint that I can't say we've seen a lot of. I think maybe next time we get to that checkpoint, if we can follow the top players. A couple of local records coming in. A few more in the 55s now. And Lawnmow will be bringing it home 12. 2 off the Liquipedia page. but a valiant effort by Welsh lad, and very proud of the work he's done. And Scandia with a 53-6 because, of course, only ramping up as we get to the end.
Tracks. Well, questions
Tracks,
about Longmos featuring on the Liquipedia page may have been a little bit premature, but there's always next week, and that's the glory of Mini RPG of the week. It's in the name. As we do get very, very close to that top 10. Server has a moment to think about whether or not anyone deserves a top 10. I think they do, personally, Thomas. I think they've been driving very well tonight. But in the meantime, look at this map. This map, it passes the vibe check.
Do we have a plan for when, I believe in 2 years' time, well, no, 1 year time, 1 year's time, when Christmas is on the Wednesday?
Yes, we'll be hosting a special edition of Mini RPG of the Week with the largest prize pool that anything has ever seen before.
Because I think I might have to skip that one, Dylan, before you just in advance.
It's also going to be the first ever time we pay casters, so.
Just or we cast live from wherever we are.
From the
wherever we are. Just crackers being opened, children screaming. No, that'll be it sucked to miss a week.
Yeah, it would. Well, we'll see. Who knows about next year? It's a long way in the future. For the moment, Scandir is actually not winning around right now, and
he's struggling.
Definitely. I think the server seems to be struggling a little bit at times at the moment. Given that we've seen it from a few players we wouldn't normally expect it from. Scandir still gets a second. And, well, here's Jozo in trouble again, as he was in the previous round, just in front of Firestorm, but they're both a long way behind anyone else, unless anyone had missed. Nobody has. Jozo will sneak onto the Liquipedia page. Firestorm, unfortunately, dropping just off the bottom.
You hate to see it. Good times coming out from Hazard. Definitely is in that can compete for the last. It's not about pace in the final round. It's about just getting the run done. But we are seeing very, very Marius, Hazard, Scandia,
Yannex, yeah. Have you just moved into another room from your microphone? Just checking.
Oh no, what's happening?
You just sounded very quiet for a moment there.
I think my mic's breaking.
Oh, that could be it. Yeah, that'll do it. Hey, you know what the good news is? Christmas is coming up.
Yeah, but we'll see. Deployer, let me know if it happens again. And I'm sure you can still see my webcam. Let me know if I was just turned around. Because in the last 2 podcast episodes, it's not been great. It's dipped a few times. And I don't want to have to buy a new microphone.
Yeah, well, there's a few people who are complaining that clearly the lag is Scandir turning on the lag switch. I don't know, can't confirm or deny, but I think if he had that, he probably would have used it to greater effect towards the end of the World Tour season. Although maybe he was worried about getting to LAN and being found out. You never know. It's very hard to lag switch people at LAN. I don't think Scandir has a lag switch, but we are into our top 7. Final round of 2 eliminations, and then we're into our top 5.
Yep. Not gonna lie, I am just looking at my mic settings right now. While we get there, I'll let you.
Yeah,
for once, I'll let you
I can
speak.
talk about the gameplay, and the gameplay at the moment is that Hazard is a long way behind anyone else. Marius has just dropped back into 6th place as well. Yannick's catching back up to the rest of the field at the moment into this U-turn. Nobody needs that booster over on the left side. Everyone carried enough speed through, and in fact, no big mistakes really from anyone yet. Hazard has had a couple of clips, a couple of moments along the way, but only about 4 seconds behind, and 1 or 2 big errors from the cars in front would get him back in. But I think we have reached that point of competition, especially on a map like this, which is so much space to work with on all of these jumps. There's not a huge amount of precision required. Precision is the difference in tenths rather than anything else. There's not big mistakes to be had, and it will be Marius and it will be Hazard who will be eliminated just outside the top 5.
And I have changed my mic settings.
He's loud as hell.
Is it very loud?
No, it's very listenable.
Oh, I like that. That's a
Sure,
that's a compliment.
listen, I say that, but it's Deployer who will have to deal with the outcome, so I should not be the one saying anything.
I
You
do
did
like
change the volume.
I do like the idea of intentionally messing with my microphone settings throughout a broadcast to annoy the player.
Massively
that
up.
seems
Well,
to be enjoyable.
Yeah, it's one of the famous things that they say you should always do on a broadcast is annoy the producer. That tends to end very well. Uso has just had a bit of a slowdown off that jump. We did see, and I didn't call it out, and I regret not calling it out early on that negatively cambered turn. In the warm-up, as far back as the warm-up, Scandier did seem to be jumping off it very early, almost ramp cutting off that to try and minimize airtime on the jump down. And I do think that's where a decent amount of the lead, at least in this round, is coming from. 4/10, nearly a full half second in front of anyone is Scandier right now. Vortex has to go for the safe way, and all of a sudden Uso is very, very close. Uso's a bit more speed, and it comes down to whether or not Uso hits it. Uso does, and Vortex will as well, but unfortunately that one final safe route is going to do Vortex in.
New record from Scandier, allegedly. 43.649.
It's not so much alleged as just the truth, correct?
The truth has to be alleged before it is known. Noah.
Okay.
Think about that.
That sure does sound like the motto of the sun or something.
Oh, Jesus. By the way, while we're here, before we get into the meat and potatoes of this all, Boomers v Zoomers coming up on Sunday, a BITM event. And Beacon World League have just tweeted my highlight because I'm doing production. Well, I'm helping with deployers. I think doing production because we're not insane. Are you doing production, deployer? Yeah, I'm doing secondary production. I'm doing fancy cameras. So I think they changed my answers. I'm not sure. I think maybe I had meme answers, but I'll have to check back. But yeah, no, Beacon coming up. Boomers v Zoomers, a charity event hosted by the BITM Discord. Really recommend people tune in. It's going to be really fun. As we get to the end, it's Uso and Freight, and Uso will be out. And we haven't seen any more, just coming back to what I tried to pull attention to earlier, we haven't seen anyone go inside on that sort of 180 checkpoint. That seemed to just be a one-round type thing.
Yeah.
So that isn't a hidden tech.
The only player we saw do it was Jozo, and it could well have just been, as you say, a result of having a slightly compromised line, a little bit less speed going into it. But here we are in a top 3. MW Fate, a player, listen, we see the MW clan, the team, up here a decent amount of time, but I believe it's Raceland is part of that team as well, and it's usually Raceland who'd be up here near the top for the team, and well, Fate unlikely to break a top 2 right now unless there's a major error. Yannick's looked to lose a little bit of speed there and has lost a little bit of speed to Scandier, but still a good 5 seconds clear. I think we've got a top 2 locked in, and it is a battle we've seen before. Deja vu on this one.
I wonder what's the most common 1v1 at the end in mini RPG.
So again, the fact that Scandier has really only kind of played from the middle of last season at the earliest till now, if it wasn't that, like over this season and over the end of last season, Yannick's and Scandier for sure. Like it has to be by a margin. But before that, it's got to be like Yannick's and someone else still, because I think Yannick's has made so many finals, being nearly the winningest alongside Hazard. But I think Yannick's has made more finals as well. So I don't know, but it'd be an interesting one to try and check. Maybe if we update all the stats, maybe if we make them all publicly available, someone will work that out. They are all on Liquipedia, but you're right, we need a database. Either way, Thomas, it's finals time. It's time to stop talking about stats. It's time to start talking about this battle and how close it's going to be.
And as payment back for me accidentally yoinking the mic in BIPL Season 2 final round, I will let you take it from here, Noah.
Oh,
bring us home.
Boy. Scandier versus Yannick's, and well, we've seen him go head-to-head before. Yannick's has come out on top more often than you might expect, given how quick Scandier is, but Scandier on this map in particular looks insane. There is that kind of ramp cut that we were talking off out the outside of that negatively cambered turn. And it is Scandier with a clear lead, nearly a second on driving alone, and we are not even halfway through the map. Scandier is driving off into the distance at this point, and I will level with you, Thomas. I don't think he's going to make a mistake between here and the end.
No, we saw a slight bobble from Yannick, but that definitely isn't a second. But that's 4/10 found then in between 2 checkpoints. Scandier may be safing or struggling a little bit. Yannick's again, another 10th as we head into the final corner. I can't imagine unless there's an issue. Scandier goes over the line with 54-1. Yannick's with a pretty good time.
Yeah.
ultimately, but you're up against Scandir.
Yeah, I mean, Scandir arguably lost 4/10 a little bit towards the end there. And that means that if Scandir had not made a small error, he was once again on pace to hit that kind of 53-6 time, 53-7 time, which nobody else in the match could even hope to match. Scandir, undisputed this evening, as he is many weeks. This map, you asked who it was going to suit. I said it was unfair to just say Scandir because it often is. But I mean, it was Scandir. It was Scandir who this suited, and it wasn't even close.
What else happened in that match? Yeah.
Well, Artis went out quite early. Fasti did eliminate a Kraus directly. But then Lonmo went on to be the last standing player from the islands of the North Atlantic. And it's a great time to be repping Welsh Pride.
Good job to my boys. This is actually a very uncomfortable hat. I have a giant head and it hurts like hell. I've had this on for a while. But no, great play by Scandir. You love to see it. Happy to see some Welsh representation.
Hang on. Why is my mic fading out? Why am I not heard? Is it maybe because I'm turning around and leaning away from it to pick up a hat? I can't imagine that was the issue, Thomas.
Look, I'm like Chocolate Rain. I only lean away from the mic to breathe. Yeah, but okay. Look, no, we were transitioning, right? Good job by Scandir. A solid attempt there by Yannick's in the final round. Wales objectively superior to the island of Ireland. Love to see it. And yeah, I think that was a good map. I think that was a very fun, a nice balance. Slightly, I don't want to say easier of a map because I think there's still room for skill difference, but slightly more
given
less
what we
punishing.
saw in the last few rounds as well. You know, I mean, as you say, less punishing maybe for the middle tiers of player. Definitely a very finishable map. But in terms of the time differences that we saw at the top, you know, I mean, pretty much all of the top 5 finished with a player a second or more behind still. And that came down to, as you say, allowing for skill expression on the map, you know, not necessarily skill differences, but basically allowing Scandir to show off how goddamn good he is at platforming and how good he is at transitions, and a few other players to try and match that and make those differences in rounds as well. So Rage did say that he set out, you know, as most of these mappers do, build a map that allowed for that skill expression while still being finishable, and it's a very fine line to walk. And I would say, I think tonight, excellent job of doing so.
Yeah, those safer routes were quite punishing ultimately in terms of raw time, but they did allow players to make that decision and do a good. Oh, yeah. Zeterate has redeemed the posture check.
I've already checked my posture. I'm already now sitting up straight. I spotted that as soon as it came in.
I'm not a Twitch streamer, Noah. I'm not used to
that's fair.
Interacting with chat.
Keeping your eye on chat. That's fair. You've already called out all the things. Of course, Mini RPG of the Week will be back next week. If you like the thought of Boomer versus Zoomer happening this weekend, organised by the British Irish Trackmania podcast, and who is the charity that is being supported by that again? I know I've looked at it previously.
Mind and Samaritans. I am under the impression that maybe Mind doesn't operate in Ireland.
Could be, but that's why it's British and Irish.
Exactly, and we would never forget our Irish brothers.
So all the money raised during that stream going to a good cause, and if you want to find out more, I would say check out British Irish Trackmania on Twitter, or follow myself and Thomas, because I'd imagine at least one of us will be retweeting things about it in the near future. Equally, Deployer might be as well. You never know. Follow Deployer too. It's a great idea. You can find us all over on that hell side. And other than that, I think we are getting ready to wrap things up. It's been a pleasure as always. Thank you again to Rage for a very, very cleverly written what are you pointing at?
There's something here in the Twitch chat, Noah. I don't know if you can see.
Oh! Well, they're for you. Oh, also for me.
It does say do it,
yeah,
Noah.
Fair enough. Yeah, but there's also 10 for you, so...
Wait, who did that?
Well,
no!
That was Zeterate. That's unfortunate for you. Alright. 10 push-ups each, and then Deployer, as soon as we're done, I reckon you can send us the break so we survive. You need to angle the camera down somehow, buddy.
Well, yeah, it'd be... I'll cut to my secondary cam, crotch cam. Are we doing push-ups or sit-ups? Oh, no. Not gonna lie, I'm going with sit-up.
Ooh! 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 Ooh!
I can't say anything anyway, so just believe me.
And more push-ups to me? Well, I am alive, but I may not be for much longer. Do you think Thomas knows that if you do sit-ups, the rules legitimately are on this channel and have been for years, Thomas, that if you do sit-ups instead of push-ups or squats, that it is 20 instead of 10.
Oh no.
Well.
Well, I'll play you out.
Okay, well, I have to do 10
Farewell,
more,
everyone.
and then we're turning off this stream.
Who's done more? What? Stop.
Well, that's for, well, okay. Listen, you can do a few squats instead. No, I'm wrong. It was 10 sit-ups or it was 20 squats because unweighted squats are very easy. So you're safe with your 10. You can do 10 more, and then we're turning off the stream, okay? It's been a pleasure, everyone. Thanks for being here, and this is it. We're done after this. One. All right, Deployer, we're done. Kill the stream.
Play us out,
Goodbye,
Deployer.
everyone. See ya.